Connor
Leafs
McDavid,
golfing.
No,
right, no, sorry.
no. Although I felt bad. The Leafs met at a golf course like a couple days after the season, and they're like, "See, they're already golfing." I'm like, "Leave these guys alone. They're at a private course, trying to hang out with their buddies, lick their wounds." But McDavid. That being said, I want to make a T-shirt. That being said, Connor McDavid was asked about his future, and of course he was. He's the best player on the planet, and in 11 or 12 days, he's going to be able to sign a contract that keeps him in Edmonton as long as Leon Draisaitl, or longer, actually, because he can go 8 years. And if the rumors are to be believed, he might be one of the last guys to get an 8-year contract, because it's looking like the new CBA will not allow, the rumor is the new CBA will not allow 8-year deals. It'll be 7-year deals. And then if you sign a free agent, the max you can sign them to is $6 million. Or 6 years, not 6 million.
Why are they doing this?
Yeah, why?
I don't know.
That's going to make all the difference?
I think that the NHL owners are trying to save themselves from themselves.
All right.
Be adults.
No, they can't. Now, let's play Connor McDavid asked about his future. Go ahead.
Oilers fans and then everybody. And Leon said, obviously, he'd like you here forever. It's not something you had to talk about, but with the July 1st window opening, when you look at, just what you've built here with this team and how close it is, do you feel like there's unfinished business for you?
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. This core has been together for a long time, and we've been building to this moment, all along. The work that's gone on behind the scenes, the conversations, the endless, disappointments, and some good times along the way, obviously as well. We're all in this together.
This is good so far.
Get it over that finish line. With that being said, still need to do what's best for me and my family, and that's who you have to take care of first. But of course, there's unfinished business here. Yeah.
You ever been to like a wedding or a vow renewal that included? With that being said,
well, I think, I see what he's saying there. Like, I don't know if it needs to be completely blown out of proportion. I see what he's saying.
Wrong. It's just, there's a huge chasm between, I'm not fucking leaving, and, with that being said.
Got to do what's best for my family.
This, I think, should be a lesson to anyone, not pointing any fingers, anyone who thinks they were close. Versus anyone who actually won. Do you see the difference?
What? No, tell us the difference.
It's all the difference in the world. You got it done or you didn't. You were first or you were not first.
You took a step or you didn't. Sometimes it's just you don't have to necessarily win every year, but you could take a step forward.
I'm not saying everyone who doesn't win the Stanley Cup, all 31 teams need to feel like crap about themselves. I am not saying that. But look at the last 3 days for one team and the last 3 days for another. You'd rather be one. There's a huge difference. It's not a one next to the win column. It's not, about stat chasing at the end of a career or legacy or all of that. It's this experience versus that experience.
Can I say, though, guys, that I would rather be both? I'll take either.
Yeah.
As a Leaf fan, I would love the privilege of losing in a Stanley Cup final. We are the only team outside of the Jets who, it's not really fair because we've been around the whole time, they haven't, that have not gone to the final. So we're the only team that hasn't gone to the final and lost. Montreal has, Ottawa has, Edmonton, Calgary,
Vancouver. Amongst Canadian teams.
I want to lose in the finals too.
I mean, why not? The Leafs have lost that series to the Panthers every day for the last month. All right, I'm going to put the fourth line out there to end this game because you guys got it. Oh my God!
That mic'd up moment was
context. Everything is about the Leafs.
Tell us the context.
Paul Maurice, for the final shift of the of Game 6 against the Oilers, the clinching game, throws the fourth line out there because he's like, "Oh, you guys got it done for us." Game 3 when we were down 2-0 to Toronto, which they had a very, very good game. They outscored the Leafs 1-0, which isn't huge, but that game went to overtime. And the Leafs fourth line didn't do that against anybody, actually. So it was a huge help for them. And It was a nice gesture, and I'm like, oh my God, can we stop catching strays for 5 minutes? Holy shit. Dude, it's been a month. They've lost this series every day for a month.
But the narrative coming out of this week is that the Leafs are the second best team.
Oh my God.
No, it's not. No, it is. It is exactly not. Jesse.
I think it's important.
Anybody else?
They basically lost the Stanley Cup.
No, they didn't.
Yeah, they did.
You simply
the Leafs lost the Stanley Cup in round 2.
I failed out of grade 10. I basically got to grade 12.
Did you?
I basically got to grade 12.
I think it's important to live 70, 80, 90, 100 years and learn nothing along the way. I think that's so important. Be born, live, and die having learned nothing.
Can we play the other answer from McDavid on his future in Edmonton?
Please.
Here we go.
Connor, respecting that, and you mentioned how much you got some things to think about, obviously, but what are those things? What do you want to kind of drill down?
So I looked it up. His hat is a yoga brand.
Yeah, Aloe.
That's a terrible logo. It's a terrible logo.
I don't know.
It's so distracting.
You are.
It's so distracting.
Adam, you go in on him.
Look what it looks like.
Go in on him, Adam.
Steve.
What do you think it looks like?
Steve, like that is like one of the hottest brands right now.
Okay.
Connor McDavid is also a spokesperson for the brand and his wife.
That's great.
Yeah. And you say it looks like a dick and balls, is what you're saying.
I didn't say that. You did.
It's out.
Someone's taking a picture of us right now while we're having this amazing conversation.
Steve.
Yeah, and they're wearing "If You're a Goaltender" shirt.
Yeah. Hey, technical.
All right.
Hey, don't have a logo that looks like a
I'm shocked. Like how
tiny dick and balls.
Steve, how haven't you heard of Aloe up until like yesterday?
I haven't heard of it. Because Jesse, had I heard of it, I'd be like, "What's with your dick and balls hat?"
Old Navy, Jesse. At the mall.
So one of the hottest brands in the world. You're just telling me there's gaggles of people wearing a dick and balls logo.
Gaggles. In fact, I've worn the dick and balls logo on this podcast. I have an Aloe sweater.
This is guess what? Old South Park dick and balls. That's what it looks like, dude. Oh my God. All right. It's okay. It's okay.
It's an odd hill to die on.
It is.
It's not a hill to die on. I'm merely saying that's what it looks like.
I hope nobody's package looks like that. I just want to say that.
Me too.
That looks very painful.
And if they do, wear it right on your forehead.
I'd like Maddie's opinion on this.
Steve, that's like the hottest take of the century.
Yeah.
I gotta say.
Well,
yeah.
There it is.
There it is.
There it is.
Not gonna
It's
back
definitely
off this,
there.
Maddie.
It's
Maddie,
right
you gotta
there.
expand on that. You got to give it to him a little bit more. I don't even know where to start.
I bet it's comfortable.
This is like one of the most popular, like what Adam said, one of the most popular brands right now for any. It's like the
like the new
elevated
Lulu.
Lululemon.
Yeah.
Like
FC UK is a very popular brand too, but we're all thinking fuck when we see the logo.
I think it's just
well,
you,
that
buddy.
was the intention, though.
Yes!
I think this is just you.
Aloe was just like, no, we're just doing all small.
I don't think any of us had that
I
thought.
think this is you.
Oh, yeah? Well,
I fear.
By the way,
I hope the friggin' stock for that just plummets.
I
because of
can't.
me.
By the way,
and
I
only
cannot
me.
believe that somebody mentioned FC UK. It's been a long time.
Well,
No, but
you know why they died out?
Connection.
Because everyone's like, I'm gonna stop wearing the fuck shirt.
but I think it gives you an insight into Steve's references. You
Yes.
know, like
That
next
is
he's gonna
true.
be like,
I'm
oh,
not a mature.
I actually
that is
took a look
true.
at Connor McDavid in this, and I was like, "Wow, Aloe! Like, good for him."
Yeah.
yeah, he's a brand ambassador. Yeah,
And I thought
you thought something else. All right,
really unfortunate logo.
You
Anyway,
thought Dash.
let's play the clip.
Let's play
All right.
the actual clip.
On as you make a decision here on a contract extension and the thought of possibly staying here for a while?
Winning would be at the top of the list, and then
I can't see it.
winning would be it's the most important thing. If I feel that there's a good window to win here over and over again, then signing is no problem. Yeah, I again, it's only been a couple of days. I'm sure we'll get into it over the course of the next couple of weeks. But again, I'm not in a rush to make any decision, so I don't think that there needs to be any timeline. I know people are going to look at that July 1 day and be looking to see if there's anything done. But for me, there's no. I'm just not in a rush that way. So,
You know,
I thought that was there was a lot in there.
A lot unsaid.
what do you guys get from that?
Well, here's the overarching theme, because everyone's trying to make this about McDavid signing with my team, and like that's just not what I take away from this. The most striking thing about the last 3 days for the Oilers, especially after the game, the next day. I mean, these poor guys just keep talking. Last year they were devastated, and it radiated off them. They were heartbroken. They were crushed. They almost pulled off the most magical comeback in NHL history and couldn't do it. They fell just one goal short. You're in the dressing room. You hear what's going on outside. They were immediately overcome by the tantalizing realization of how close they were.
Mm-hmm.
This year, it was just immediate, depressing acceptance. They skipped over all of the stages, maybe not all of them, but the most important guys, especially Connor and Leon, skipped right over everything. And there was a bit more of an air, less of we could have done it,
Mm-hmm.
and more so we got our asses kicked.
Well, because they're not closer. So
They got farther away, literally.
So Jesse, what do you deduce from that?
So yeah, on McDavid's words specifically, him talking about how there's a decision to be made in his mind on whether he wants to sign there long term. Like, I think that's a message to the front office that this is going to be a negotiation. I'm not just taking whatever you offer me, which is fair. Like, they're going to offer him the sun and the moon, but
He's the best player in the world.
He needs more than that. He needs more than just the $15 million you want to pay him over 8 years. He needs an assurance from Stan Bowman and Jeff Jackson and Knobloch that they are going to be better, because winning, as he said, is the most important thing to him. And that includes, you got to figure out the goaltending situation.
They're getting a goalie. They're getting a goalie.
By the first couple days free agency is over, like, you need something there, whether it's signing or a trade. You need to figure out the goalie situation. They need to figure out the contracts, because it's looking pretty bleak when you're locking up all this money on guys who aren't performing up to their contract. I think Darnell Nurse in particular is the standout contract there, was making $9.25 million. How do you surround Connor McDavid with the talent that he needs when one guy's making that much money? So he's sending a message, I think, to the front office, and I think it gets done, in all honesty, in my mind, that he signs a short-term deal. Yeah. I think there's a 2-year deal out there for Connor McDavid from the Oilers, because I think...
Well, what do you want, Connor? We'll give you that.
Exactly. They have to accept whatever he wants on that end, and they obviously want the long-term deal, but I think in the end, there's probably some 2-year deal in August he's signing, but he needs to know first that the Oilers are better than this year's Oilers.
But why sign it? Why sign it in August? Jeff?
There's no reason.
Why not wait? So here's the thing.
No, because the conversation all season long is too much.
Now,
well, okay, hold on. Yeah. I want to say something quickly.
Okay, I'm the historian here.
I know. We were at Boston Pizza last year, and we were talking about this run that the Oilers were on, and they hadn't yet made the finals. And Keith Acton, former coach of the Toronto Maple Leafs, assistant head coach, who owns that Boston Pizza, came on the show, and he's been on a couple times, and he's awesome. And what he said was he thought that Connor McDavid would be among the greatest of all time just for getting to the finals with this group of guys. That's what he said.
Which is not a compliment, even.
And I think we all got more out of the Oilers. The Oilers gave us more last year and this year than we thought that they were capable of. Let's be honest. I had LA beating them in the first round. What a friggin' moron.
Yeah, but now, once they won the one game, I'm like, oh, okay, never mind. LA's dead.
They're back. But last year we didn't see that either.
No.
And I think that is like Stan Bowman. 2 weeks from now, we will be the Friday after free agency.
Yeah.
Right. Free agency's on a Tuesday. If by that Friday, which I believe is July the 4th, America Day.
Sure.
If he does not have a new goaltender, start ringing alarm bells. And I'm talking about you're not going to be able to sign your goal. Like, it's not going to be Jake Allen.
Oh, I was just about to say, like, who the hell do you get?
You trade.
Oh, man.
You trade. You have Evander Kane as a trade piece. Go make it happen.
Yeah.
You've got to do something.
Yes.
And so that brings us to historian Steve.
What people forget about Connor McDavid the last time he signed his contract, the beginning of his $100 million, $12.5 million contract, is a rumor leaked a few days, maybe a week before he ended up signing the deal, that the number was like 13 or 13 and a half or something absurd. Now, you're like, well, something absurd. He's going to get more than that this time. Yeah, this time. 7 years ago, pre-COVID, $12.5 million was lunacy in the NHL. Perhaps not for him, but for anyone in a league where only a handful of players were even making 10. This guy signs 12.5. It was at the time far and away the most money any player was making per year. And the rumor was he was asking for more than that. So when he signed for 12.5, it was spun that, oh, look at this beautiful little discount that Connor McDavid gave. Now, you got to be careful with that because people have a long memory for their own money. And it's okay if you think he took a discount and he's a great guy. It's a big problem if he thinks he took a discount on his last contract, because that shit's going to be 16. At what would be an amount of money that you think would cripple your team? Like, you pay him whatever is just beneath that.
Yep.
If you had $20 million in cap space and the opportunity, Connor's like, yeah, I'll sign.
You sign him. And anybody who
why
says
wouldn't you? It's Connor McDavid.
Then don't expect to ever be an NHL GM. Not that I ever do, but it's one of those, like, you sign the best player in the sport and you take your chances.
Yes.
Yeah. Like, what are we doing here?
This I remember the conversation we were having at the time. Like, guys who were making $10 and $11 million were like, you're not $1 or $2 million away from Connor McDavid. Like, this is a bad contract because of his contract. And again, that was another glimpse into how what he took was a discount. I just don't see that happening this time around. Leon is about to make 14, and he signed that before we knew the cap was going to explode. I'm telling you, like, just pure guess, I think it would be a runaway success if he signed for 15. A runaway. Don't ask any questions. Sign it, take it to the bank, fax it to the league. That's it. I don't even care about the amount of years on it. If McDavid agrees to 15, you slam it down on the desk and build your team around him and figure it out.
And I think that's why you get the shorter term deal with McDavid. I think, like, he recognizes, like, if I want this team to be competitive, I'm going to have to take something like 15. And if I'm taking 15, it's going to be on, like, a really short deal.
Wouldn't you do a 1 year? Like remember LeBron was doing those when the
he
NBA
does 1-and-1s.
Just keep doing 1-and-1s.
Yeah,
but I know you can't do a 1-and-1 in the NHL.
There's no player options in the NHL.
Hockey's
so weird. How have the players not negotiated for that?
Hockey is very insular, though. And these are not the same, but I think in the brain you can compartmentalize it like it's a little bit the same. Jack Eichel's neck surgery had been done. It had been done on other sports to other athletes with great results and great success. It had never been done in hockey. So there was this huge reluctance to do it. The second Jack Eichel
because
got it
your
done,
sport's so much different than everybody else's sport.
But then Jack Eichel got it done, and it went okay. And all of a sudden, there are now several players in the NHL who have gotten it done.
Patrick Kane, hip resurfacing.
He had there's another. That's a great example.
John Klingberg got it. Who else got it?
The hip resurfacing hadn't worked. Patrick Kane gets it done. It appears to have worked. Now, people forget, like, medical advancements, they get better. My uncle, I know he's not an NHL player, but, like, stick with me for a sec. He got a hip replaced, I think it was about a decade ago. That surgery took, I think he said, 6 hours. He got another hip replacement a few months ago. It was 45 minutes. You know, things change. Right?
You said he was walking the next day.
He was walking the next day with a cane, right? And now I don't even think he's using a cane. This has never been done in the NHL, where guys just go year to year to year to year like LeBron. But if there were ever a player you were going to do it with, this is the one.
Well, LeBron was the guy that kind of started it.
LeBron is LeBron in basketball. Connor McDavid is Connor McDavid in hockey. If you were ever going to do it with a player.
Comparisons.
Was that?
Pipe down with those comparisons.
Pipe
Does it want
down.
anything?
I think the 2-year deal makes more sense for McDavid just because like there's a little bit too much noise around a 1 year.
Yeah.
Because then you just keep repeating the conversation over and over again. I don't think McDavid's the type of guy to want that. And hockey doesn't feel like the team sport to do that. It feels right.
Yeah.
And I think that's where he's going. But that's just educated guess. I don't even know if it's uneducated guess.
Hey, it's as good as anybody else's guess right now with Connor McDavid.
Yeah, I don't even know if Connor McDavid knows what he wants because, as we were saying, Adam, like I think it depends on what Stan Bowman does come July 1st and like the week preceding that. Like I think there's moves there the Oilers need to do to get better, and come the mid-July mark, you have to look at the Oilers on paper and say that they are better than the team that just lost to the Florida Panthers. And if you can't do that, then Connor McDavid's going to be wishy-washy about his future there. But if you can, then things look good.
Well, Jesse, they locked up Trent Frederick for 8 years.
That's a lot.
Man.
Like we haven't talked about that deal since because it happened after the podcast.
Yeah.
I think
we are going to it now, so it's
I think
perfect time to bring it up.
I think that's a little too much money for a guy who's not guaranteed to be in your top 6.
I don't think it's too much
can I just
money.
read you the headline?
I think it's too much commitment. It's way too much commitment. Like $3.75 million for a guy who's a little bit of a unicorn in the NHL for just how tough of a bastard he is. Like 6'3", 225, something like that. He wants to play more center and can. He plays wing. Scored 17 goals, then 18 goals. He had an off season. Like any Oilers fan who watched him all playoff long and watched him play his one game in the regular season that he shouldn't have even played. Any Oilers fan who saw any of that, I don't blame you for being hesitant about this player. He had a terrible season. If he gets back to what he was before the injury, I think that contract is perfectly reasonable. Mm-hmm. What confuses me is that you felt the need with all this going on to lock him up for 8 years. Now, just spitballing, trying to think of all the things we know about Connor McDavid. When he was in junior, he was asked a question like, fantasy, you can play with anyone in the league. They're your line mates. Who do you want? And keep in mind, he's a child when he said this, but he goes, Milan Lucic.
Okay.
Now, that was like 2014. Mm-hmm. Milan Lucic was hot shit, right? And it makes sense. But he likes that kind of player. And then who did the Oilers end up getting? They went out and they got Milan Lucic. Now, you better hope Trent Frederick has done a repeat of Milan Lucic.
Trent Frederick, Milan Lucic.
At least Trent Frederick's a centerman for them most of the time.
But he's also a torpedo.
Yeah, I get that.
He's a complete torpedo.
The deal's not done yet. I feel like that should also be said.
Yes,
it's not official. It's not confirmed. The number we have is a range of a number. It's $3.5 to $4 million is the report, and the 8 years. So who knows what it comes down to? If it comes down to $4 million over 8 years for Trent Frederick, that seems like a weird contract to hand out when you don't know what McDavid's future is, and you need as much cap space as you can get at all points during his window while he's on the Edmonton Oilers.
Well, and I think you look at the first off, I want to say that the Edmonton Journal reported it was, I love this headline, Oilers lock up top power forward Trent.
Oh, right. I mean, there was a time.
The propaganda continues. Yeah. But I listen.
And they shouldn't be writing that because they haven't done it.
Well, it said like more to come or whatever. And that was 2 days ago.
More to come?
More
like
not come.
The actual news.
Yeah.
Like what?
Yeah. Well, so I liked the Trent Frederick trade for them. I was from the get. I'm like, I don't care that he's injured. This guy's going to be valuable. And he was. The thing about the $4 million 8 year thing is, okay, so obviously there was a number that Trent Frederick's camp, and I'm saying 3.5 to 4 million, whatever it is, that they were like, we want to make 25 million bucks on the next contract.
3.75 times 8, I believe, is 30 mil.
And okay, and then there is very few centers on the market, right? Duchesne just re-signed. We'll talk about him. Brock Nelson has re-signed.
Sounds like Bennett is staying.
Like Bennett's going to re-sign at some point. We all kind of knew that anyway. So at what point do you go, if you're the Oilers, listen, He's their third line center-ish guy who's a bit of a, and it's $4 million. And next year, 2 years from now, the cap's going to be $113 million.
And who cares about 2 years from now, though? You got McDavid for 1 more year guaranteed.
Yep. So do you do it? Should you do a Trent Frederick 1 year deal? $24 million. This is the thing, right?
There's a chance this works out really, really well, but
there's also a chance it's Luke Glendening.
Luke Glendening or Nikita Zaitsev or Pierre Engvall or like the logic is,
man, let's do a comp. Pierre Engvall, just stats versus stats.
The difference is if you tried to rip off Pierre Engvall's gloves, it would tear skin off the bone. And Trent Frederick is looking for a fight. Like that's the difference.
I love Trent Frederick. Just I have a man crush on his style of play.
He had a terrible injury plagued season.
Yeah.
He did, and he played through it.
But he had a 40-point year the year before that.
Yes, and a 31 the year before that, 17 goals, 18 goals.
And you know what? When Engvall signed with the Islanders, he was coming off a 35-point season with Toronto.
But look at his Islanders stats.
He went to the Islanders, and in the first 18 games, he scored 9 points. Oh, man.
Hey.
Half point a game. And then he had 28 points and then 15 points because Patrick Roy hates him.
Yeah, dude. Engvall, oh, my God. He was such a 6'5".
Comparison is closer than people think. He's just a way different player.
Yeah.
6'5", 230.
Great skater.
Fast as shit. Like,
doesn't he have the hardest shot, too? Like,
I don't know about hardest, but like he can rip it and just... I've never seen a player with this many tools not put it together. Like just completely not put it together.
He's a champion dead zoner. Like when he carries a puck across the blue line, it's going to a dead zone. It's not going to a scary place on the ice. It's going to a place on the ice where the play dies.
If there is a wrong path without the puck, if there's a wrong path to take, he's gonna find it like. And I'm friggin' Dog the Bounty Hunter.
It's people like Engvall and Justin Hall, that have me questioning some of the people that I used to really invest in.
Oh, well,
you guys are going off.
Yeah. We're going off topic. We're going off topic.
Way out of play on.
SDP if we don't make every segment.
You guys are going way out of play on this Trent Frederick conversation. I think like the Trent Frederick thing. I think you nailed it when you say if this could be an incredible deal or it could be a really bad deal like the Engvall contract. If Trent Frederick is a dynamic center for this Oilers team for all 8 years or the majority of the 8 years at $4 million as the cap's going up, that's a great deal.
Yeah.